having a different outlook. Mrityu as death. Mrityu, mortal, morbid, morphed, all this immortal, everything that has to do with death in English comes with mrityu, murat. Vidadhe, I cause, bhayam, fear, ulbanam, great. As the blazing fire of, let's do it, maybe call and response. As the blazing fire of death, I cause great fear to whoever makes the least discrimination between himself and other living entities because of a different outlook. Okay. So, purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There are bodily differentiation among all varieties of living entities, but a devotee should not distinguish between one living entity and another on such a basis. A devotee's outlook should be that both the soul and super soul are equally present in all varieties of living entities. That is excellent, isn't it? So obviously Krishna is not a racist. Maybe the apartheids and all the Hitlers and all these people should have read these words. Would have been much less trouble on this planet. 20, 25 years, maybe more, 45 years of apartheids, these world wars and all the troubles could have been alleviated maybe if this verse was understood. It's clearly saying on the bodily distinction, udaram, it's distinguishedly clear that it is based on a bodily difference. If you make differences, not acceptable. So Krishna is saying, so this clearly Krishna is not racist, yeah? Which is a good news. Now, interestingly, actually, I remember Robin Hood. Anybody read the story of Robin Hood? Even Robin Hood was not racist. Because when Robin Hood comes back from his Turkish invasions during Crusaders, he comes with a black slave from Turkey. And I remember this boy under Robin Hood, and he goes and the boy says to this black guy, says, "Why are you so dark and different from us? And what are all these black spots on you?" And the person was Islamic, he was coming from Turkish, it was after the Crusaders, and he turns to him and says, "Because God likes varieties." So even Robin Hood is not a racist. Anyway, back to Bhagavatam. So, now I have a question for you. I like to present paradoxes. Yeah? The paradox is this. Clearly, empirically speaking, scientifically speaking, we are not actually equal. You could be a very good singer or a good mathematician, or Prabhu could be an excellent scholar, he could read well, he could presentations well, he's an top class book distributor there, and top class Vaishnava here, and critical analysis there. We all have different kind of abilities, and Matajis have their own abilities. I've seen this Mataji since 24, 25 years now. We've been coming here. I still remember I opened the door when Atmaram Prabhu used to take classes here. The first person I saw is this Mataji. 25 years now? God gracious. Time flies. So everybody has these different abilities. I can run 10 kilometers straight, no problem. No problem. 10 kilometers, boom. No problem, no break. And I'll get up and you will even notice that I did it. We all have different abilities. We all have different skills. Empirically speaking, we are not actually equal. Empirically speaking. Now, how are we equal? We need to think about these things. Why is Bhagavatam saying, from what perspective is Bhagavatam saying that we are actually equal? Because empirically speaking, We are not equal. I may not have the same IQ as you, and you may not be able to, I don't know, do something else that Matajis can, or Matajis can't do something else that you can, or we are all actually, empirically speaking, different. Avibhaktam cha vibhakteshu vivaktam vachasitam bhuta bhrina cha bhutastu. So Krishna says in 13th chapter, Vasishnu Prabha Vishnu cha, he says, Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam vachastitam. They're all actually different, but I am seated equally. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashatsu na vinashantam. Samam pashyati sarvatra pandita samadarshana yada bhuta pratak bhavam ekastham anupashyate ekastham sama. I can quote 25, 26, maybe 30 verses from Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is extremely emphasizing, vitally emphasizing the equality. But empirically we are not equal. How do you solve this? Okay, so I can solve this by presenting to you the Declaration of Independence of America. Because there have been some very prominent scholars in the West who have done some serious theologians, all the way from Augustine to Anselm to Thomas Aquinas, So all the way to Thomas Aquinas, Martin Luther, with all his Protestant, is that recording? Atrocities. So, but everywhere they've done a lot of works on equality, and which you can see has somehow made its way into the Declaration of Independence of America and into the democracy. We can solve this paradox. You want me to quote you the Declaration of Independence of US? Thomas Jefferson wrote it. He says, we take this, we accept this, we take this as self-evident truth, that we are created, self-evident truth. Thomas Jefferson knew his philosophy. Okay? When he was writing this Declaration of Independence, he wasn't some, dumb guy. He was an extremely smart guy. In fact, it is said that Kennedy, when he was giving this big Nobel Prize, like he was bringing all the Nobel Prize laureates together in the White House one day, and he was giving this big luncheon. And there's about nearly 300 people, and apparently I heard that Kennedy said that this is the greatest conglomeration of Nobel Prize winners in this world since Thomas Jefferson ate alone. That's how smart he was, Thomas Jefferson. So, I don't know. So he's saying we take this as self-evident truth. Self-evident truth means, in Bhakti, in Bhagavad Gita language, self-evident truth means swatta pramana. We take this as a self-evident truth. That we are created equally in the eyes of the Creator. What he's trying to say is, empirically we are not equal, but metaphysically on an Atma platform we are equal. That's how we solve this. You understand what I'm trying to say? So we are going against all empirical evidences present to us, all logical evidences present to us, that we are not actually equal, but we're going against it, and we're stating in our declarations of independence, we are stating in our democracies, we act in our democracies as if we are equal, but we are not equal. The reason we do that, because it's self-evident, under the eyes of the Creator, we are all Atma. That is the darshana. If we don't get the Atma darshana, how are we Brahmanas? How are we devotees? So Prabhupada lodged a very technical word in there, saying a devotee should not distinguish. So we don't distinguish on the basis of not just us, anybody in the world. Anybody heard of what's called syncretism? So syncretism was kind of a pre-modern concept around when Shankaracharya was traveling the planet. It was very popular. Syncretism is when people of different backgrounds, different bodies, different culture, they met together. The first thing that they would discuss is what's common in us. They don't come and all start over and say, oh, we believe in Jesus, you believe in, 30,000 gods, you're all going to hell. Or first we meet now is we first look at the differences. But syncretism is saying that first we touch on the commonalities. What is common in us? When we find something common in us, then we've built a launching pad to create some organical beautiful structure of hierarchies and atmas, of services, of devotees, of worlds, of societies, of communities. But the foundational basis that we are equal can only be on the Atma platform. Please understand. Please understand. Okay. How many times have you heard this in a Bhagavatam class in Hare Krishna? It's like 356 million times. You are not this body. Please understand. That's the darshana. You cannot keep functioning on a bodily sense gratification level. Sense gratification is overrated. Please understand. I don't want to make it a serious philosophy on Monday morning, but we have to start on that foundational basis. Sense gratification is overrated. Because we don't start on the launching pad as an Atma. That's the reason. If you see around the planet currently, the medias, the news, the books flying around, the programs floating around, sense gratification is overrated. On an Atma platform, it's not sense gratification, it's a service platform. You want me to tell me a little, do you want to me tell a little story? So I met this lady, Serena. We had a stall on Saturday, which is yesterday, God gracious. No, the day before, sorry, I'm losing track. Saturday I had a stall in Hornsby, and this very intelligent Chinese theologist. She actually sounds very Aussie, but appearance was Asian. So very intelligent girl. She was 19-year-old, and I told her, I wish I was as smart as you when I was 19. So she stood at my bookstall, she was browsing the books, and she was brought up in a Catholic faith, Christian faith, and I don't have to explain, you're all big distributors. I don't have to explain where those kind of discussion goes. So the lady stood and she said, I want to ask you a question, because she was sounding honest. Usually I try to find a way to get out of Christian dispute. But she sounded a little honest, so I thought, okay, I'll answer. She said, can you explain to me something? I am brought up in a Christian faith, and I spoke to you about 10 minutes, and you're talking from a consciousness perspective. You keep saying consciousness is primary, the Atma platform is primary, you build theology on that. And from Christian perspective, our Christian perspective is a little different. Can you explain what's the difference in your concept of what happens after this body, and what do you understand of my concept of what what happens after my body in a Christian faith? I said to her, okay, so obviously you're talking about the difference between Eastern and Western, so we'll just put Eastern in one group, liberation, and Christian resurrection. So you're trying to ask me the difference between the liberation and resurrection. Is that what you're asking? She said, yeah, that's a nice way to present it. Yeah, that's exactly. All right. So this is how it works. The way the narrative goes in Christian theology about resurrection is Jesus actually came after 3 days along with his body. And the concept is that When a true Christian dies or passes away, better word, they actually resurrect along with the body. And the proof they give is because Christ showed the holes in his palms after the 3 days. So that means for them, it's founded that you actually get up along with your body. So my question I said is, what if I don't like my body? No, I like my body. Don't get... No. That's just a rhetorical question. You understand rhetorics? So it was a rhetorical question. I said, what if I don't like my body? So you want to force me into a spiritual world with my body that I don't like? There's 8.6 billion people, and I bet bottom dollar in my wallet, you will find at least 5-6 billion people who may not like their bodies. What about them? So what about a transcendental Atma body which has nothing to do with a material body at all? The body sees because I see. The body sees, yeah, that's okay. I heard it. The body sees because I see. I don't see because the body sees. So we need to really distinguish this difference between the body and the Atma. In the eastern side, we have many other liberations or spiritual world, Vaikuntha, Tadhama, Paramama. We have so many concepts about. But in the eastern, I explained to her, there is a very vital difference of what Descartes used to call homunculus, the machine, the ghost in the body. He used to call the ghost in the body, but what he means is an Atma in the body. He was just a dry humor, sarcastic guy. So he used to call a ghost in the machine, right, Descartes. He was just a dry humor guy. Don't take him seriously. He was just a funny guy. But what he means is there is an Atma in the body separate. And she replied to me, that's very interesting because I want to object to your question where you said, what if I don't like our body? But what Christianity is saying is when you wake up your body, it's not the same gross body with the smells and the sweats, and we don't need to be gross on Monday morning, but I'll stop there. So she said, it's not, you actually get up with your transcendental body. I said, well, it looks like we're actually talking the same thing then. She said, wow. Can I get that book? What is that book in your hand? I said, Bhagavad Gita. I want to take a read. That's fantastic. She said, that's that. I said, we have to, you are an educated person. We are all educated people on this planet now, most of us. We have to meet on that educated platform as Atmas. Doesn't matter if you're a Christian, doesn't matter if you're a Hindu or if you're a Bharat or Islamic. We have to start meeting on that Atma platform. When we start meeting on that Atma platform as syncretism, then what builds on over it is very organically structured and beautiful. It's beautifully, just automatically flows because the premise is correct. You understand? So that's the only way we can be equal. Otherwise, there's no equality. Trust me, on this physical, naturalistic platform, there is no equality. Prabhuji, Mataji's. That's the point. So in so many various ways, Kapila Muni, what he's trying to tell us, first he tried to tell us the binding experience. Binding experience is where the consciousness moves within the body, but someone in the body is binding all our experiences. It's called binding experience in science. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. All it is, it's binding experience. That's all Krishna is trying to say. Simple stuff. It's not so esoteric. Some esoteric Hindu, mutt education or something. Simple binding experience. There is a subject, observer, moving through the body, but someone is binding everything together. The experiences, the sounds, the histories, the sights, the smells, everything is coming in various fluxes, but someone is putting it into seamless experience. Who is that observer? The binding experience. So the binding experience, the metaphysical equality, everything is pointing you towards an Atma. And a Paramatma, supervisor. That's the only way. So in many ways, Krishna, we actually, this is going to sound a little funny, but just relax, I'll explain it. This is going to sound a little funny, but we actually enjoy more free will than Krishna. Can you believe that? This is so lovingly sweet. Because you and I have walked away from Krishna because of our free wills, but Krishna didn't walk away and stayed in your heart. He didn't walk away and use his free will. If he wanted, he could, but he didn't. Why? The love binds him. In that sense, we actually enjoy more free will than Krishna. Can you believe that? That's ridiculous. Krishna gives us more free will than himself. We can walk away from Krishna, he doesn't walk away from you. This is ridiculous. If I say something, if I offend you, for example, I won't. If I offend you, I say, Prabhuji, and then I walk away. And then I really keep going on, and I put on Facebooks and, multimedia, Instagrams, and, this Prabhu is, this Mataji is, Mataji is always, and I put everything on you. Next time I come, you have a little reluctance to say hello to me, wouldn't you? We walked away. But he didn't walk away. He came with us in your heart. What kind of love is this? He must be a crazy lover. Krishna is a crazy lover. He is crazy. He is completely crazy. Maybe more, Romeo, Juliet and all this, we hear stories. If you want to hear a real romantic story, a real crazy lover, that's Krishna. Now the question is, do you want to become a crazy lover back to Krishna? Do you want to become a crazy lover back to Krishna? Yes or yes? Say yes, please. Say yes. We don't want him to suffer so badly, because when we suffer, he suffers. Chanakya says to Chandragupta, I had this obsession about Chanakya Chandragupta. Oh God, I don't want to tell you how many times I went through their stories. He says to Chanakya says to Chandragupta, when you fall, it hurts me. Chandragupta was, by the way, if anybody doesn't know, Chandragupta was Chanakya's student. He was the emperor who brought the whole Asia together, including Persia. So one time I remember he says, when Chandragupta doesn't listen to Chanakya, Chandragupta says, why you keep insisting? Why you want me, this, why do you insist? And Chanakya says, I insist you do that. And why do you keep following me like this? Why do you keep, why do you know everything? Because he had a very strong espionage, Chanakya. He was like might, Mossad and Raw and CSI and everything together. And Chandragupta says, why do you keep, spying on me? And Chandragupta says, why do you keep, wherever I go, you watch every act. Why do you do that? And Chanakya says, you fall, it hurts me. That's why I follow you crazily. So Krishna, we fall, it hurts Krishna. So let's give this love back to Krishna. Because we keep falling, it hurts him. So let's save him from this pain. Let's save him from this pain. We don't want to cause him any more pain. Please, for God's sake. Enough. Yeah? Okay. Let's move back to next. There's another thing interesting in this. Fear. Krishna talks about fear, doesn't he here? I cause them great fear. It's extremely rare. I'll move to the next concept now, okay? It's extremely rare in Vedic civilization, in Vedic injunctions, in Vedic scriptures. It's extremely rare. You will see very rarely in Bhagavad Gita, there's only 2 verses he says. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham cha samchita mamatma paradeshu pradvishanto abhyasuyaka tanyaham drishata kruran samsareshu naratama kshipam yajasram ashubham asureshu yonishu asurim yonim apanna mood janmani. So anyway, I won't go on Bhagavad Gita on you Monday morning. But what he's trying to say is, I come as fear only abhyasuyaka. Aha. He is not the jealous God from the Bible. He's not, I am the jealous God, He's not like that. I'm not criticizing Bible, please don't get me wrong. I'm just pointing out some differences. I love Bible, okay? Please understand. So, what I'm trying to say, he's not that jealous God. I am the jealous God. Woe on you when you turn your face away from me. I'll bring the fire from the hell and I'll burn you, and I'll burn you more I'll wake you up so I can burn you more. No, that's not the kind of God we're talking about. He only tastes fear about hardly 6 times in Bhagavatam and 2 times in Bhagavad Gita. We're talking about nearly 17,000 verses, twice. But when he's talking fear, he's only talking in context when you become abhyasuyaka. When you become envious to others. Samoham sarva bhuteshu na dveshti na priya. Because everybody is equal in my eyes. I become fear to you, mrutyus charati mad bhayat. I become fear to you only when you become envious on the superficial bodily platform. And you stop seeing Atmas. You have to develop this eye. I told this person he came to me and said, what happens, what do you think is the difference when I read your book? I said to him, one difference. Just give me one difference, he said. He said, you will see everybody here. I was in the mall with, 1,500 people. You see everybody here. You'll see Atmas here. You don't see bodies. You see Atmas. And you see Paramatmas in their hearts. That's what happens when you read the book. I thought you were going to say, I'm going to become a Hindu. Get out of here. Okay, don't give me that. So Bharat is a consciousness. Bharat is not a land. Please understand. Please understand. Bharat is a consciousness. Bharat is not a land. We are not trying to make anybody Hindus. We are trying to make everybody Atmas, conscious entities. You understand? So I said, you see everybody as Atmas. And what about this nature? I said, you'll see everything as Brahman, Parabrahma. Parabrahman. You see everybody as Atmas. Vishwam Purnam Sukhayate. You see everything as spiritual world. I said, wow, I thought you're Hindus or something. And he took my book. So that's the plan. Krishna is what he's trying to say when he says fear, he's talking about fear when we become envious to others and when we start causing troubles. Okay, do we have time? I'd like to refer to a story. Is it okay? Story? Yeah. You have to read Bhagavatam very carefully with close persistence and a very close attention. Who remembers Hiranyakashipu Prahlad story? Everybody here. That's one of the best stories. He knows how to stand his ground, that young fellow. He knows how to stand his ground. So if you want to learn how to stand your ground, read Prahlad's story. Beautiful guy, beautiful devotee. So Prabhupada says something interesting in the summary. He doesn't, in the third canto, he doesn't do summaries, but I think somewhere in the mid-fourth canto or beginning of the fifth canto, he starts giving summaries of the chapters before he starts Bhagavatam. Until third, he didn't do that. And I think later on he thought, okay, let's recap. So in the purport of before Prabhupada starts his Prahlad story, he says something interesting. Listen to this carefully. Your lives may not remain the same. He says Hiranyakashipu got his boon to become immortal, practically speaking, and he conquered the whole world. He stopped the Vedic injunctions. He destroyed the Brahmanas. He destroyed the Varnashrama cultures. He destroyed the Devas. He destroyed the hierarchies. He destroyed the universities. Yeah? He destroyed everything. Prabhupada says something interesting. But he was never satisfied. He is always dissatisfied. Although he destroyed everything, all the Vedic injunctions, which he always wanted to do anyway. So this is very interesting. Here is a guy who wanted to destroy the Vedic injunctions, who wanted to destroy the Brahmanas, who wanted to destroy the cows, who wanted to destroy Indra and the Devas, who wanted to destroy hierarchies. He does it, he accomplishes it, but he is not satisfied because he has done it. Now I asked my daughter, she likes to read Bhagavatam with me. And she was sometimes she speed reads Bhagavatam. And I kind of said, whoa. You collecting some things here or what? She goes, what didn't I collect? Prabhupada just said something interesting there. He just said that Hiranyakashipu achieved everything, but he was not destroyed the Vedic injunctions, but he was not happy. Now, why would someone not be happy after he accomplished what he had set himself towards? What do you think, Prabhujis and Matajis? Am I making it too serious for a Monday morning? Why? You set yourself up. So Kamsari Sendas Prabhu comes to me and he said, Radhika Prasad, you just told me you ran 10 kilometers. How long did you take? I said, I don't know, 50, 60 minutes. 30 minutes tomorrow, I'll do it. And he does it. He does 10 kilometers in 30 minutes. He might as well do it. I seriously believe that. And physically look at me and him. And Bhava, he makes me look unfit. Anyway, so, where was I? Why did Prabhupada say, so you accomplish it, right? You say you accomplish it, but you're dissatisfied. But you should be happy. If it was just a friendly, you're not doing it because of envy and you wanted to beat me or something, but you did it. But you accomplished it, but you're not happy. Why? If you said that, wouldn't you say, why? Why is Hiranyakashipu not happy? You want me to explain to you why? Your lives will not be the same. I just joke, okay? Don't take me seriously. So, there is something called a moral compass in your heart, in our hearts. The author of all things, Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham, Sarvasya Chaham Hridisannivishta. When the author of all things, the super soul is in a heart, he's the author of all things. Ezekiel, Bible. The author of all things. He writes in our hearts. He inscribes a moral compass in our hearts. So Vedas doesn't just mean, when Krishna says Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham, it doesn't mean just those 4 books, bundle up dusty books and Vedas, wrapped in the red cloth and, saved in some Banaras Mutt or Badrinath or Jagannath Puri temple. You got to go 108 steps down the stairs in the dungeon, open and dust it off, and then here are the 4 Vedas that Krishna. No. Vedas just doesn't mean the 4 books that are kept, that are, bind and kept in an enclosed treasure in Jagannath Puri temples and Badrinath mutts. Vedas expansively is a moral compass that Krishna has inspired in your heart, in our hearts. It's a moral compass. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena taktena bhunjita. Ishtan bhogani odeva dasyante yagna bhavita tairdattana pradayabhyo yo bhungte sthena evacha. What is he trying to say? He's instilled a moral compass in your heart. Evam pravartitam chakram. I've instilled a moral compass. Evam pravartitam chakram. The chakra, the compass. Nanu vartayati yahaya. You don't follow that compass of giving and receiving and giving. This moral compass, you don't follow, that's been instilled in your heart. It's a moral compass. That's a Vedic injunction. It's not just some Hindu Sanskrit writings hidden in some Trivandrum temple. The author of all hearts inscribes a Vedic injunction of equality and non-enviousness in our hearts. And when you break that Vedic injunction in your heart, that moral compass is broken. And you encourage others to do that. You go to Hiranyakashipu and say, Hiranyakashipu, you know what I did today? I just, slit a dozen brahmanas' throats and I picked up all their gold and all the yagnas and the cows and then I brought it home. And Hiranyakashipu goes, yeah, well done, mate, good on you, mate. You understand what he did? He just didn't destroy a so-called yagnik principle, or he just didn't destroy a brahmana or cows. He just didn't destroy they just didn't put the Vedas into the fire and burn it. But what they did is they destroyed he destroyed the moral compass. Might. He should have, on the other hand, he should have said, might, you're an idiot. What are you doing? They're Atmas, might. What are you doing, might? Why are you trying to steal their purses, might? Why are you stealing their cows, might? Leave them alone, might. If there is a moral compass, it works. But when there is no moral compass, when people are destroying your own moral compass, you destroy your own moral compass. You understand? How can you be happy, Prabhuji? How can you be happy, Mataji? So the Vedas, you have to see this expansive vision of the Vedas. When Krishna is saying Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham, he's talking about the author of all things signing a moral compass in your hearts. That is a moral compass of love. That is a moral compass of giving and taking. That is a moral compass of Evam Pravartitam Chakram. Aghayurindriyo Rama Moham Partha Sajivati. Sense gratification. We took birth in the time of Mahaprabhu. We are a soul. We took birth in the time of Mahaprabhu. You won a jackpot. And what do we want? Sense gratification. I want a little sex. I want a little that. I want a little this. Sense gratification. You've taken birth, you've won a jackpot. We've taken birth in the time of Mahaprabhu and Prabhupada. We've realized they are Atmas. You see everybody as Atmas. You understand now it's time to give bhakti back to Krishna. Don't let him suffer anymore. Now we got this wisdom. I want some sex. I want some sense gratification. Oh, I want some fame. I should be the big, leader. Sense gratification. Sense gratification is overrated. Yes or yes? Say yes. Please. So, what was I talking? So Hiranyakashipu, that's what I was trying to say. The reason he's not happy is because there is a moral compass, a Vedic injunction in his heart too. And you destroy this moral compass. When you destroy a moral compass in your heart, you can never be satisfied. That's the reason Prabhupada says, even after achieving everything, he wanted what he wanted, he got the position, he goes and sits on the throne of Indra. He goes to the Brahmaloka, everywhere, and he says, I'm not happy. Why? Because you destroyed your moral compass. So how does this apply to us? Let's come back to planet Earth, from all the regions that I'm going away. When we meet someone on this planet, doesn't matter which religion they are, doesn't matter which country they are, we have to start speaking on that level, on the Atma level, on the conscious entity level, on that compassion of moral compass. Compass, compassion, same words. That moral compassion level. People see you, people understand you represent something very, very lovely and spiritually beautiful. They talk to you, they understand, they feel like, I want to give you a hug. I really want, they take the books and they come back and say, can I give you a hug? And she goes, are you a brahmachari or something? Are you married? Can I give you a hug? I really want to give you a hug. You're so, it's so compassion coming out of you. That's how we need to make people feel when we meet someone. That's how compassionate people should feel when they meet us. They need to see that compassion coming out. They need to see that love of Krishna coming out. Then we can transform this world. Like drop by drop. Our behavior transmits and permeates and mediates into communities and socials and countries and eventually the whole conscious experience of a planet. Drop by drop, bit by bit. How does a lion eat an elephant? How does a lion eat an elephant? Piece by piece, bit by bit. Put a little drop of Prabhupada's love wherever you go. Who wants to do it? Please say yes. Too much love, mate. Can't hold it yourself, you understand? This is too much love. You come to a point, I can't hold it, I want to give it. I can't hold this, I want to give it. How much do you have? Doesn't matter, just take the book. You understand? So give this love, give this Krishna consciousness. There's only one thing, with all my Western philosophies and all the theologies that I speak, there's only one light on this planet. With the risk of sounding as a fanatic. Bhagavad Purana. You have to make this your life, soul, blood, breath, muscles, bones. Make it your life. Mataji? Yes or yes? Yes. Thank you. Okay. I think I was supposed to do one more verse. I'll just quickly do it. Sorry. Okay. I know. I'm just jumping everywhere. Alright, what is the 27th? What does that say? Therefore, through charitable gifts and attention, as well as through friendly behavior. Ooh! Did I anticipate this verse or what? Therefore, through charitable gifts and attention, as well as through friendly behavior, and by viewing all to be alike, one should propitiate me. Kavim Purana Manushashitaram, who abides in all creatures as their very self. So, athamam sarva bhuteshu bhutatmanam kritalayam arhayet danamanabhyam maitreya bhinnena chakshusha. Vinnena chakshusha. So, by viewing. Okay. It should not be misunderstood that because the super soul is dwelling within the heart of a living entity, the individual soul has become equal to him. The equality of the super soul and the individual soul is misconceived by the impersonalists. I know it appears to you, it may appear to us that Prabhupada is taking the shot at Mayavadis in India, but I can show you it's everywhere on this planet. Okay? Trying to become God is everywhere on the planet. Trying to exceed the soul so-called parameters is everywhere on the planet. It's everywhere on the planet. So it's nothing to do really with Prabhupada taking a shot at impersonalists. So I was saying something in the last Bhagavatam class. Do you remember I was saying something interesting in the not interesting, but I said something, I pointed out in the Bhagavatam class. Last I was here, I think. You are your relationship with Krishna, and you have an irreplaceable connection with Krishna. Your relationship and your position, sthane sthita stutigatam tanuvan manobhi, your position with Krishna is irreplaceable. Krishna cannot come and just say, I can dispense you. It's an irreplaceable, eternal connection with Krishna. Your connection with Krishna is irreplaceable. Yeah, it's indispensable. So, you have this Anadir Adir Govinda. Yeah, you have this great Anadir Adir Govinda who is where the buck stops. God is where buck stops. You cannot keep aggressing unlimitedly, eternally. So infinitely. So the buck stops at Krishna because Sarva Karana Karanam, he causes everything. And you, as a spirit soul, exist indispensably. Nobody, Krishna will never come to you and say, I'll do away with you. It can never happen because it is an indispensable connection. Natve vaham jatunaso nattum neme janadipa. We were there eternally and we will be there eternally. He cannot dispense you. It doesn't happen like that. Yeah? So, you are, like for example, they say, in Prabhupada says, like Guru God, there is particle God, and there is Ishvara God. So there is Ishvara God, there is a Guru God, and there is a particle God. He is infinite God and we are finite God. As a finite principle, we need to understand our tattva correctly, because people get discouraged. The envy of God comes from here. The envy of God comes because we in our mind have been habitually used to getting on the top wherever we are, in the jobs. Even in some spiritual organization, it's always like which position you are. You don't have a position? No, I'm... Okay, next please. You understand? So we are habitually used to hierarchies, and we are habitually used to a kind of system of trying to come to the top. And that has intrinsically and intuitionally made us envious of God, because we think He is on the top. He is on the top. But what we see is He is a boss and we have to surrender to him something like, military surrender. And God, how many times surrender devotees? Why do they say surrender? But our relationship is indispensable. So this is how it works. You have this infinite God, like Robin Hood story says, who likes varieties. So the Shastra, Robin Hood. Okay, sorry. Sorry, we got to have a sense of humor. So the Shastra, Robin Hood, the Shastra is saying that we are equal, right? So you have this infinite God and you have this finite particle God. So the way it works is He likes variety. And when this love from the infinite comes into this prism, not prison, prism, it flashes into the prism and it dispenses more light. That's why He has infinite forms, Anantarupa. Adyam Purana Purusham Navayavanam Cha. So we are this infinite particle gods, and we are these finite particle gods, particles of God, and we have this infinite God. When this love comes as into this prism, and then we disperse more out. So that way the infinite God still retains his position and you still retain your position, because there is no loss or diminution in the love. So you are eternal, either you are in this body or you are eternal even if you are out of this body. Prakritim purucham chaiva vidyanadi ubhavapi. Vikaramsha gunamshaiva vidhi prakriti sambhavan. I'm not blowing any smoke or anybody's asanas or mats we have. So, we are eternal in the body, we are eternal out of the body. Which one do you want to choose? Out of the physical material body, because all it gives you is limitations. We don't dislike the body. The reason we talk about coming out of the body, transcending the body, is not because we hate it. It's fine. If I can use it for Krishna, fine. But the problem is, it's limiting our service capacity. Please understand, mate. It's not because I want to get out of the material body and I am on the Vaikuntha plane to the plane to the Vaikuntha, and I am the Vaikuntha, Vasi and Sarupya Salokya Sarishti. No, mate. The reason we don't want this body is because it's inhibiting, it's limiting our capacity to love Krishna and express our service fully, mate. You understand? Aussie, mate, you understand what I'm trying to say? That's why we want to come out of body. We're not coming out of this body because we want to become some, perfections, or, we want to attain the Vaikuntha Loka. No. We want to be out of body because this is limiting my service to Krishna. I want Krishna to enjoy to the fullest extent that he deserves to. That's why I don't want this body. So you are a particle, infinite particle of God, you are a little finite particle of God, and God retains still his position. That way there is no problem. What is the problem? What is the problem in being a finite particle God who can reflect Krishna's mercy without any obstruction, without any interruption? If that is your position, what is the problem? Why envy? Why this envy? Kill this envy. Why this envy on God? Why this envy on devotees? Why this envy on souls? Do you understand? Or did I make it like way too heavy and out of transcendental or something? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So that's why we don't want to be in this body. Not because we want to become mixed into some merge into some Brahman and become some. Oh, we have Alex, the theologist. Good to see you. So that's why he will testify when he's done with what he has done. He will testify. It's got nothing to do with India. Impersonalism is everywhere. Why do people make their own gods? Why do they impose a God who keeps saying, I am not God, I am a son of God or something? Why do they keep insisting, or why do people take their own gods? Because they don't understand the tattva. What is the three tattvas? We need to get it. We need to understand three tattvas. I'm going to ramp it up because we have a theology student here now today. I'm going to ramp my philosophy up. So three tattvas, what are the three tattvas? If you don't understand this, that's where Prabhupada called Mayavadis. What are the three tattvas that we have to understand? Oh! I never deserved this. What is the next? Woo! I don't have it. I don't have any more Mahaprasad. You can share with him. What is the next? Boom. Bingo. See, I love to sit with you. Seriously, guys. Trust me, I swear to God. See, love to sit with you guys. Jiva Tattva, understand the finite particle of God who is, there is no diminution as an Atma to reciprocate your love to Krishna. Number one. Prakriti Tattva, you can locate yourself into either the material nature or locate yourself into the Brahma, Parastasmatu Bhavanyu, the spiritual nature. You can locate yourself into, you have free will to locate yourself wherever you, which Brahman you want to locate yourself. On the Prakriti Brahman or in the Para Brahman, transcendental spiritual Brahman. So you have your position to locate. It's you have free will. Free will. It's like the, butterfly wings. Never gets off the ground. So you have free will. Once touched. So you have free will to locate yourself in the Prakriti Tattva, or you have free will to locate yourself into Parastasmatu Tattva. You're a Jiva. So why envy, mate? Why envy? No need for envy. No need for sense gratification. Sense gratification is overrated. Envy is underrated. We solve these problems, be happy. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. You understand what I'm trying to say? So, just quickly recapping. So I was trying to explain the point how we are actually equal. I talked about Thomas Jefferson, the Declaration of Independence. We see ourselves self-evidently. So we take it as a self-evident truth that we are equal in the eyes of the Creator with inalienable rights. So Western philosophy, all the libraries of Western philosophy in one statement. Yeah? So we talked about we can never be equal empirically. Empirically we can never be equal. The only platform we can be equal is metaphysically, as an Atman position. So I gave an example that Krishna, in one way, Krishna actually enjoys lesser free will than us. And I kind of resolved the paradox, hopefully. Did I resolve it or no? I did. The paradox is that in the sense that we left Krishna, but he never left us. In that sense, he enjoys less free will than us. Seriously, do we want to see Krishna suffer like that? Rot with us here? With envy, sense gratification. So I talked about how we can reciprocate back, and I talked about the chakra, the moral compass, by giving the Hiranyakashipu story. The Vedas is not just those 4 books in the Badrinath Math or something. The Vedas is the author of all things inscribing his moral compass in our hearts. Does that sound good, Alex? The author of all things, the Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham, Sarvasya Chaham Hridhi Sannivishta. The author of all things inscribing his signature of moral compass in your hearts. So regardless of how many Vedic injunctions he broke, regardless of how many kingdoms of heaven he won, regardless of how many brahmanas he killed, regardless of how many cows he killed, regardless of how many Havan Kundas he destroyed, he was still unhappy because there's a moral compass. So Vedic injunction is expansive like this. You have to see Vedas like that. Everything is Vedas. The engineerings, the ITs, the bankings, the financials, the moral compasses, the virtues, the values, the psychologies, the Carl Jungs. You see everything as Vedas. You have to develop that eye. Come on. We have to develop that eye. Why? Not because of us. Because of Prabhupada, because of for Krishna's sake, because we are supposed to be showing a light and saving this planet. She's waiting. She's waiting for us. The Mother Earth is waiting for us. Krishna is waiting for us. And then I explained the impersonalism, the division between the tattvas, and how there's no problem in being a Jiva Tattva. There's no problem. Don't just destroy this, thing about going to the top. Just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. No need to. Where which sthane stita shrutikatan tanuvan manobhi yo prayaso jita jijay sapitaista lokyam. Whichever position you are, the point is becoming that prison of unlimited love and mediating and permeating it to everybody. And people see you and say, thank you for the book, but can I give you a hug? You understand? Isn't that a good, what a life. What a life. So who do you want to be? A devotee. Did I tell you the joke? When I just came to Australia, this was 25 years ago, 24, 25. You were not even born. And they used to say wallabies were really big. Do you remember those days? When wallabies was really big? Like they were conquering, they even won the World Cup, I remember too. John Eales was the captain. Wow, gentleman. So they used to come and say, who do you want to be? And they say, wallaby. And I used to say, I was just coming to Atmaram Prabhu's classes and I was just pumped up, spiritual blood going in me. And I used to say, who do you want to be? A devotee. So we are this Bhagavatam is a torch. Mother Earth is waiting for us. Krishna is waiting for us. All the Atmas are waiting for us. Let's meet people on the discourse. Let's meet people on their discourse. We don't have to colonize people with, Hinduism or something. That's not what we're here to do. Okay? We are here to show the darshana, the Atma darshana. That's what we're here for. The Atma darshana. You understand? You follow? Yes. Happy? I covered 2 verses. So don't go and ask for refunds. Because you need to understand before coming to the Hare Krishna, we don't do refunds. Okay? It's paid. Okay. I think enough of my dry philosophy. I'll save you from my dry philosophies. I'm very happy. I'm sincerely saying I'm very happy to be here. You don't understand how happy I am. It might look like he says all the time. I feel so happy to be with you guys. It just boils my blood. It just fires me up in a good way. And it just brings me back my memories, when I was coming and sitting here before the Olympics. It just gives me, before the Sydney Olympics, I used to sit here and Atmaram Prabhu was sitting there. And it just brings those fond memories and bit nostalgic. You understand? Bit nostalgic. I really feel nostalgic when I see you guys. I'm so happy. And I'm, with my heart, I'm saying, I'm happy to be corrected. And I'm happy to be questioned and challenged. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Don't go with my voice and tone. I just look passionate or something, but don't take me seriously. Any challenges, questions, comments? Now that we have a university guys here. Yes, please. Please. That's okay.
I think, I'm not sure if it's...
It's okay, don't worry. You say.
Personality is actually missing. What he's actually concentrating is on a temporary thing, trying to conquer. The relationship with the Lordships is actually
Oh,
missing.
fantastic.
This is what I feel.
Oh, fantastic.
The second thing you have mentioned is human body is actually limited. Yes, definitely it is limited, but at the same time it can be looked from a different angle that, the smaranam factor is always there. So I'm not sure if it is still in spite of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, still I feel that there is a great possibility, extreme possibility to be involved in what, Prahlad Maharaj provided, like 9 cups of devotional service. I think, I'm not sure if it's limited, but I actually see it in a different way, that it has got innumerable capacity.
Fantastic.
This is what I think must be.
No, it's not a speculation. It's actually a fantastic point. And it's interesting you say that because when I and Meera was talking, Meera exactly said the same thing to me. So that's completely acceptable. Yeah, temporary. When we speak about the moral compass and when we are talking about the author of all things inscribing in your heart, that's exactly what it is. The Vedic injunction, the moral compass that's been instilled in you is that you are an eternal Atma. So they're actually, they may look different, but they're actually same. It might be overlapping. So completely acceptable. And about the capacity of Shravanam, Kirtanam and all, that I completely agree. See, it doesn't, for a devotee, Lord Shiva says to Parvati Devi in the Chitraketu story, Narayana para sarvena kutaschana bibhyati swargapavarga narakeshu apitulyartha darshana. That's correct. But having said that, wouldn't you, if you were a devotee and if you want to please Krishna more and more and more, and if there is something inhibiting and putting you in a cycle, a disease cycle of a ferry wheel, and if something else give you a better capacity, not for me, but to serve Krishna, I rest my case. Do you see what So I think that's a very good realization. And I'm very thankful that you brought it up, because I thank Meera, my daughter. So she always raises these kind of points. She's very, very analytical. God knows where she got it from. So, she's raised this point. So it's really overlapping. There's may not be much difference. So point taken, accepted. We good? I don't want to come between. Who am I to come between you and your breakfast? You little Radhika Prasad. Let us go and have our khichdi. Okay. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Thank you, Mataji. Sorry, I don't have any Mahaprasad. You've been so... Can I give you this Mahaprasad if you don't mind? You've been so patiently sitting there listening to my... Okay, I just turn it off and on my way home.